Today we're making chicken tinga tacos, and if you've never had them before, I highly recommend buckling up before you drive a car because it's the law.
You suck at cooking, yeah, you totally suck.
We're gonna start by chopping up a couple onions, and if you're not into chopping, you can always just smash the onion against the wall. Then I'm gonna take a few cloves of garlic and give them a good spanking before peeling off the paper and chopping them up a bit. It's worth mentioning that this recipe is often made by boiling to start, but we're gonna end up in the same place. I'm just making it in a way that uses the least amount of pots. Now it's time to talk about this recipe's secret weapon: chipotle peppers and adobo sauce. If you've never actually had them in anything, you'll quickly realize why chipotle everything became such a big deal several years ago. While they may just look like an old shriveled sack of prunes, this just might be the apex predator of flavors. They also defy the laws of physics because there's no way that all of these came out of that can. They're the clown car of peppers, and we're gonna chop up these clowns fairly finely. Chipotle peppers, more like chigotle peppers, am I right? That doesn't mean they taste like a goat. It stands for greatest of all time, in case you didn't know that. And now we're gonna start frying up that onion on medium heat, then add the garlic to it, and then add the chipotle peppers, all of which is unnecessary if you go the boiling route, which we'll get to soon. Now I'm gonna open this can of diced fire roasted tomatoes, although the fire roasting is totally unnecessary due to the smokiness of the peppers. Now I'm gonna add in some broth, and I'm starting to question my pot size choice here as we're getting a little full. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of salt to start. Some recipes add cumin, which you might not taste over the chipotle, and some add oregano, which is a different kind of oregano in Mexico, which I also doubt you'll really taste over the chipotle, but let's add it anyway because this has been in my cupboard for an unknown number of years and I need a reason to use it. And now we're gonna get that bubbling like a cauldron because this is some serious Mexican witchcraft which will haunt your taste buds for the rest of your life in a good way. And into the cauldron goes the chicken. No need to sear. The chipotle peppers are handling it, and we're gonna cook that for around 25 minutes. Also take a shot every time I say chipotle peppers. And now I'm thinking I might nominate myself for the pot size estimation awards because look how perfect that turned out. It's important to remember that chicken tinga tacos aren't to be confused with Tina's chicken tacos, which are white bread, mayo, cheese, and chicken strips. And if you think I'm above eating this, allow me to disappoint you. That's actually pretty good. Now that the chicken is cooked, we're gonna take it out and shred it. I'm going with the grain here, which makes it come apart in bigger pieces, but if you go against the grain, then it shreds perfectly. Shout out to all the haters who say I cook with fake heat. Then we'll just put that shredded chicken back in the pot. Psych, JK. We're gonna let that cool down, and I'm gonna use my stick blender to turn this into a much smoother sauce. If you went the boiling route, this all might be in a blender at this point. Now I'm gonna add that chicken back in and wang jangle it and realize I really underestimated the amount of sauce here, but no big deal. Let's add more chicken, and 25 minutes later we'll shred it, add that back in. Now that ratio is looking much better. Still very saucy, but all I can say is, oh no, I made too much of one of the greatest sauces to ever walk the face of the earth. What am I gonna do? Eat it, I guess. Now I'm gonna taste this and adjust the salt, and yeah, I went way under with just 1 teaspoon, so I'm gonna double that and just taste my way into salt equilibrium. Now if you get corn tortillas and you're like, oh my god, these things are like rubber, then you haven't read the instructions because you have to fry them to bring out the full corn tortilla-ness. Then you get this pliable, toasty, yummy corn tortilla. If you don't have a set of lonchejeros, don't worry about it. That's a word I just made up, so you won't need them. For toppings, I've got lime crema, which in this case is sour cream with a squeeze of lime. I've got cotija cheese, which is definitely not just feta because I couldn't find cotija cheese. And then I'm gonna slice up some avocado, and I've got some cilantro, also known as soap flakes to people who have that genetic variant, aka heathens. Now the real challenge here is not overloading it, but I have my own genetic variant which doesn't allow me to put a reasonable amount of filling inside tacos, so that's just my cross to bear. I really don't like doubling my corn tortillas because I prefer a very high stuff to edible container ratio, and if that falls apart in my hand, then I'm just gonna eat my hand. Now I don't know what friggin' genius came up with this, but once you have it, you can't untaste it. And I just wanna say, what? No way. Oh my god, I won the 2024 Pot Size Estimation Award. That's wild since there's so much of the year left too. Like, what an honor. Wow, this is just turning out to be a really great day.